Welcome to the Be Amazing podcast. On this show, we'll give you the fuel you need through motivational pep talks, the fitness tips to be your healthiest self, fortitude to push through the hardships, and focus you need to build the skills needed for the next level, no matter what that looks like to you. I'm your host, Cel Smart. I'm a wife, a mom, community leader, and fitness professional of over 18 years. I'm here to be your biggest cheerleader, advocate, and connector. Let's be amazing together. Hi, everyone. It's Cel. I am here today with my friend, Rebecca Rosario.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast, to Be Amazing podcast. And we've known each other from multifamily industry. And we just have been having this conversation with actually you, me, and Eric sitting here talking about multifamily and all the things behind it. And really, before we dive into your story and how you became part of this industry, share with us a little bit about who is Rebecca?
I'm an eclectic chick. I have such an array of things that fascinate and interest me. The easiest way to explain it is I'm very curious by nature. And so I allow that curiosity to take me into different things. First and foremost, I always like to say I'm a lady. And that means that I know this is going to sound really kind of woo-woo, but pretty is as pretty does. Mm-hmm. And so I think that having a character of a lady is part of who I am. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. I'm a business owner, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a national speaker. I am a salsa dancer. I am a travel aficionado. I walk caminos. Oh goodness, I love food. I love good wine, and I really do love the color purple. I love gardening. I have many, many, many interests. So yeah,
I love this because a lot of times people will get on and say like just a couple of things, and like yours is really colorful. Like I love that. Like I really do, because it's like it's starting to paint more of a picture of who you are. I know you as Rebecca, owner of Full House Marketing, just because of who I know of you in the industry. But like, I'm fascinated by all these other elements that I want to talk a little bit about, especially we're going to talk later about salsa dancing, because like that already resonates and tracks with me. But talk about your career as far as like Full House Marketing. What was the path to get there as an entrepreneur for that?
Sure. I think because I've always been pretty sales and marketing forward. Even before I got into property management, believe it or not, I did telemarketing. I was that person that called you at the dinner hour to sell you extended service agreements. I know. And so I, like so many, I stumbled and fell into the industry, right? I was a single mom, barely had 2 nickels to rub together. I was engaged to someone, and he convinced me to move to Michigan, and the job that I transferred with was a bust. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? We were hand to mouth. We were just literally starting over. Follow me to Michigan, marry me, start over. I uprooted from Florida. And he said, you know what? The girl because he did everything. I just showed up and moved into the apartment. The girl that rented me the apartment, you could do that. You can talk to anybody. And I said, what do I have to lose? I literally walked into the clubhouse of the community where I was living and said, I need a job. And it's a pretty funny story, actually, but that's another story for another day. They took a chance on me. That's the bottom line. They took a chance on me, and I was hungry. And I said, okay, there's a commission potential. If you did well, kept your nose clean, you might even get a rent discount. I'm like, yes, $7.76 an hour plus commission, and all the Otis Spunkmeyer cookies you can eat. The old ovens. Anyway, I'm dating myself. So, and so I've done everything except maintenance on site. And in 2000, after I came to North Carolina as a regional director, so I went from leasing to that. I saw, and I remember it was 2000, I saw a need, staffing, training, and marketing. And I said, I'm going to go for it. So in Wake County, in my living room, this company called Full House Marketing was born. And that's how I got here. Along the way, I did a stint in advertising. I went from the owner-operator side over to selling advertising for a company called Haas Publishing, who then was acquired by the Adler Group. And print publications are no more, but back in the day, that was my jam. And so I learned a lot through that as far as advertising, marketing, management company philosophies about how they position their product and their brand, working with ad agencies, because I was a publisher of the Philadelphia Jersey. And some of my clients, it was all, talk to our agency, right? So you just learn as you go. You learn as you go.
That's pretty awesome. Because just from how you started, you started from being on the owner operator side by leasing apartments.
Right.
And then we fast forward and here you are, you have your own business.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about Full House Marketing. What exactly does your business? How do you serve the industry?
So we like to say we are a one-stop shop. However, one size does not fit all. We tailor and customize pretty much everything we do to the needs of our client, which means we operate more as a boutique than a big box store, right? And so there's advantages to that. And I like to use the old carpenter's rule, measure twice, cut once analogy. And so taking that time on the upfront, whether it's a staffing need, whether it's a training need, whether it's marketing consulting. By the way, those are the primary. There's 5 points on our star, and they're temporary staffing, direct hire, mystery shopping.
Oh, that's interesting.
Training, and marketing consulting. So those are the 5 points of the star. That is our logo. And so I wanted to fill what I saw as a need, and it has just grown and evolved since 2000. And now we offer all those services all over the state of North Carolina and some outside the state of North Carolina.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And that has to be that feels really, I think would feel real rewarding to have come from being on the other side to now you're actually helping them with services that you probably found in your work that were needed. And now you're the one that's able to offer the service.
Right. And really partnering as the apartment associations have grown with their education. Because again, remember in 2000, it's different. The apartment associations, what they were offering was limited, not anymore. So I've really inserted myself in that association work and even volunteerism and growing my leadership through board services, all been a part of that evolving, because me knowing what's going on, what the needs are, because needs aren't stagnant. They change all the time. It's a very dynamic industry. It's like a soap opera. You got to tune in every day because it's always changing, right? And so being a part of, can you tell I'm an association junkie? Mm-hmm. Being a part of that though, and again, through service really keeps me grounded in our industry and knowing what is relevant to our industry so that we can massage how we offer, what we offer. But what we do, really quick, our why, so simple, because everybody deserves the opportunity to build a career and have a proper place to call home. All our services point to that why. Easy. And we do that by making our clients money. If I'm making my clients more ROI, more NOI, more cash flow, and also building career opportunities and leveling people up in training, everybody wins.
That's the goal. I think even with what I do with Ready Fitness and outfitting gyms, bottom line, I'm there to help them build product that's going to sell.
That's right.
So that they have residents live there. So that's, as a supplier, that's what we're doing. And you're talking about the associations, which I remember when my owner, Eric, 10 years ago, handed me, I went to boot camp. I've never been multifamily before, so I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know it was an industry. I had rented an apartment. I didn't know it was an industry. I just rented an apartment. And he told me, he's like, the first thing you need to do is you need to go become a member of the Greater Charlotte Apartment Association. That's like number one. Like, don't do anything else before you do that. And I was like, okay. And I remember walking into the first, it was Products and Service Council at the time in Charlotte. And I walked in and I had no idea. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is huge. And I was overwhelmed by like how big. And then I went to events and all of these people and trying to understand the differences of like ownership versus supplier and, you know, how this whole world works and where do I fit? And so for me, that was the starting point of being a multifamily. And I inserted myself immediately following just what he told me to do. And I quickly found that it was an incredible community to be a part of. And I know for me, I've been in it 10 years and I have, I continue to develop and grow. And I've just started with the Train the Trainer program at PTA, which Rebecca is actually a Train the Trainer trainer, which we're going to talk about because there's so much there. But just watching your path, there's other women in the industry that I've paid attention to and watched. And I think specifically because you're on the supplier side and seeing how you have a voice and how you've created this path for yourself, that has inspired me to continue to do the same. Because it's not hard to give back and be involved in the industry that I serve and love. And I want to continue on that path and I want to continue to be educated and grow. And that's part of me doing the trainer program is so that I can help in that way. But also just being around other people in the industry, right? Which I think is so important. So I want to talk about your pathway with like, how did you get involved with the speaker side, the training side? Like, cause you're in, like you're in at like national level, like you're in. So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I was way back with the Shopper's Guide, I would do little free things for clients because I'm really good at leasing. Been really good at leasing. And so I do free workshops and they liked them. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm pretty good at these. You know, I didn't have any real training. And so when I started the company, a near and dear friend, I have to shout her out, Leah Brewer. She owns and operates Full House Michigan. And I reached out to her. I said, Leah, I'm doing this thing. Let's go. Well, she had already started training. And so we collaborated and continue to this day, going on 25 years.
That's awesome.
To collaborate. And she's the one that really pushed me. And she said, I've gone outside the industry to advanced instructional design certifications, master trainer, games trainers play. There's a certification for that. And so Leah and I have always been each other's champion in elevating our speaking and facilitation game. And having someone like that, I cannot tell you the power of just, you don't need many. In fact, sometimes you only need one. That the power of true allyship and that collaboration of people who are also leveling up. And so I would do something and she would go, oh yeah. And then she would do something and then I'd say, oh yeah. And so we just kept doing that. And so to this day, advanced facilitation training through NAA, EI. We're both, again, very plugged into even national. She's on the NAA EI board this year. I'm going to be going on the board next year. She's up for an ACE Industry Practitioner Award next year, which is huge. It's like a lifetime achievement for all things education nationwide. Surrounding yourself with people who stand for your success and really will give you honest feedback, and you meet. We have a pact. Feedback is a gift. And when you really embrace that and you get that feedback and you take it on and you do something with it, I cannot tell you how powerful that is. Having people that will do that for you has made such a difference in my life. And now I feel honored that I can start to help and do the same thing.
Well, I feel I so appreciate that because I know you kicked off class this week. We had you as our first introduction to training. And I have admired you from afar as like what you have done, what you've been able to do. And especially, again, going back to being a supplier. It's not always an easy track. But I already look to you as a mentor in my own professional growth, and the fact of like, I see what you're doing. I see the possibility. And I'm like, oh, like, yes, like that's who I want to be around. That's where I need to go. This is the person I need to talk to. So Liz Newkirk's another one, another one, Betsy Kirkpatrick, another one, like just being around these women that are doing things and people that are doing things that are like next level. And it's like, okay, I want to go next level. Like I'm like ready for the next thing. So I so appreciate, the path that you've laid. And then also like when we were in class and we were just talking about, like, I was asking you for feedback. I'm like, what's my feedback? My husband gives me feedback all the time. It's a daily thing. But just feedback from the professional side, because there's that feedback is what gives you the, feedback. And I always took it as a coach. When the coach corrected me, it was, for the longest time, some people would take that as like, oh, I'm not good, I'm not bad. But I always took it as like, if they're correcting me, they see potential in me.
Why waste your time? Seriously. That's why I say it's a gift, both from the giver and the receiver.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. The only way, I'm going to quote her early because I'm going to quote her again later.
Okay.
Maya Angelou, one of my favorite leading ladies, when you know better, do better. And so if we don't know better, how can we? There is no possibility for do better. And so it is up to us to seek that ourselves and then be willing to give that to others with permission, of course. Yeah, the feedback. So
yeah, you just have to be open. You have to be willing and willing to receive it and almost be hungry for it. And I think that's kind of the place I'm at now. It's like, no, I really want, I want to be more. Like I do. I want to do more. I want to be more. I need to be challenged.
Right on. Well, listen, there's plenty of room. Let's go. Right?
I mean, yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Because I will say this, and only because I have to be completely candid. When I first started getting into speaking and trying to elevate myself, some people were kind. Some people were very helpful. Cynthia M. King, I love you. And then there were other people who were not. And they actually tried to place hurdles. And there's never a need for that. When you come from a place of abundance, there's enough for everybody to go around. There's no need for pettiness, jealousy, blah, blah, blah. There's just no need for that.
Yeah.
Right? We can all come together on this. And so it has since, because we're going back over 20 years ago, it's improved. And yet, every now and again, I still see some of that. And so I'm here to say, not necessary. Let's just all, get along, shall we?
We're better together.
We're better together, always.
Yeah, always. Were there challenges for you? I keep bringing it back to this because I know I have some newer friends that are coming into the apartment association as new suppliers. Got it. So there's like new people coming in. There's this huge world. They know nothing about it. And we can all share, all of our experiences of what we have experienced. But I feel like for those that have really been in it like 20 years, what would you say to someone as far as like when they feel challenged or, because sometimes you'll hit those roadblocks where you do feel challenged and you're like, I don't know if do I keep pushing to go forward or do I need to go a different route or like kind of navigating the fit, navigating what do I do? Where do I fit? How do I grow in this industry and become part of it?
Right. I would say first and foremost, all things being equal, relationships rule. All things being unequal, relationships rule. So find people that resonate with you and reach out. And some of my longest, best colleagues, their clients, and now friends, It's because I was willing to just ask the tough questions and say, hey, is there something that I need to be doing differently? Because I'm not going anywhere. I made it clear from day one, I'm not going anywhere. So tell me what I need to do. And a lot of that happened through apartment association work, through participating in committees. I would tell a new person, let me answer your question specifically, surf all the committees, find the one that speaks to you, whether it's government affairs or whatever. Get in there, rub elbows with people. You will learn so much by observing. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And remember this, even the hardest of stone over time gets worn down by water. And what I mean by that is it's not necessarily the outward, forceful, aggressive, I'm gonna come at it with a hammer. It's time, it's consistency, it's doing the right behaviors over and over and then refining as you get that feedback. And really understanding one of the biggest questions that I love to ask my clients is, what's keeping you up at night lately? And if it's something that I can't solve, be a resource. That's another big thing. If you're a resource, I don't do it, but Cel does, right? Or Eric does. And so I'm not here to just get mine, me. I'm here to be a resource for you. That's a whole nother level. You are now working on what I always consider myself, and that's a trusted partner, that I'm not here just to take your money. If you're really in it for the long haul, that's a commitment that is born over, again, repetition, time, keep investing. I joke, I'm like the bad penny. I just keep turning up, and just be patient. I know, in today's society, we get a lot of things that are instant. Mm-hmm. And there are some startups in our industry that have, done really well in a matter of a couple of years because they were the right brand new thing at the right time. That's a startup. That's not typical.
Okay.
Competition. If you're new, I'd say competition makes you stronger. It certainly has made me stronger because I've had so much competition come into my space for all my services that we offer. And I was just like, all right, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to stand? That's the other thing. What are you going to stand on? Mm-hmm. Are you going to stand on price? Are you going to stand on speed? Are you going to stand on quality? I mean, Business 101 is you've got those three major prongs, if you will. Which one is going to be your, I'm fast, or I'm cheap.
Bad guy.
I'm not fast and I'm not cheap, Cel. I'm expensive and I'm worth it.
See, I like that. I will take that. Yeah, there's something
It's the boutique. It's the boutique. Yeah. And we tried, I just want to say this, we tried, 5, 6, 7 years ago now, a while ago, we were going to do this major expansion and we did. We spent a lot of money and we went into South Carolina and Charleston and, and timing, it was, in hindsight now, I realize the timing was wrong too. But the thing that really hit me was it didn't feel boutique anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe that's just a nut that I just never cracked. Maybe I could have, in fairness. And so I said, you know what? I think it's just going to stay in the footprint. And that's the other thing. What do you want to be known for? Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, own it. So if you want to be the biggest, you want to be coast to coast, and you're going to operate on volume and price, own it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, if you're going to be boutique and be the most expensive, own it.
Mm-hmm.
Own your value proposition, whatever one of those things are. Because if you don't, nobody else will. So that's what I would tell someone new.
This is so good. I can't even, this is so good because there's all these conversations that happen all the time from the supplier side, and I've been on the ambassador program, and I love GCAA, and I love PTAA, and I love AANC, and I love being a part of the associations and like the people and the directors and the just everybody that's involved. And so these questions will come up with new suppliers coming in, and it's always the one thing I always tell them, the ones that come up and ask or we have conversation, and I'm like, just get involved. And they're like, okay, so which committee do I need to be on that's going to put me in the place with the people I need to talk to?
Well, depending on your product and service and or service, that could, in fairness, that could make a difference.
Right.
I get that. However, there are decision makers on every committee.
Mm-hmm.
There are decision makers certainly on every board.
Mm-hmm.
Make yourself known, whether it's PR, whether it's education, whether it's government affairs, right? Whether it's membership, or you're really big into event planning and you want to be on, the special events or whatever they're calling that committee. Mm-hmm. That's what I say, surf. Go surf committees. Mm-hmm. Because when you do something that you are more interested in, you're naturally going to be better at it. You're going to bring more to the table. And then all of a sudden people are going to say, who is that? Mm-hmm. I like what they said. And then, after you've been on that committee for a while, if you want to do something else, or maybe you want to elevate and become a co-chair, I think that's great. That's what I did. I was PR and community outreach. Surprise, surprise.
Shocking.
Yeah. So I co-chaired that for a long time, and then, went into the board position. So, it's an honor. It is. It's an honor. It's an opportunity. And lest we forget, we have daytime jobs, right?
Right.
So it's like having a part-time job. I just want to be really clear for the new people.
It is.
And, you're giving extra. This is not within the normal 40 hours, right? No, this is over and above. And it's a labor of love. Ooh, that's good. It's over and above and a labor of love.
I like that.
That's committee work and board work. And you do it because you care. And let me tell you, people will sniff out who's showing up just to have their name on the roster.
Right.
They will see right through it. I've seen it time and time again. If you're not in it for the right reason, don't do it. Because you're not only making yourself look bad, it's a real disservice to the committee or board in which you've been appointed. So,
it'll quickly it's not a quick, I think sometimes people roll into associations because I think it's a quick way to make, to start gaining clients and all of that. And it really does, it is a time thing. It's a consistency thing. Mm-hmm. It's like you said, just keep showing up, keep being there. Mm-hmm. But this is so valuable. I feel like this right here, this is because you've been in the industry so long and you have done the work and you continue to do the work. I mean, over 20 years. Built a business that serves this amazing industry. And, you're in high level positions on boards. You're doing training at national level. The information that you're sharing and it's a gift for you to share. Because I think this is something that needs to be shared more.
And I feel... I do. I feel, and I don't mean this in a bad way when I say obligation. Mm-hmm. It's not bad. Okay. It is an obligation for me because I've been given much. I too must give. Mm-hmm. Right? Because legacy's becoming more and more important for me as I become a woman of a certain age. And, who's going to continue? Who can I pass the torch to? Mm-hmm. And it's not just me. There's many other people like me that have been in the industry 25, 30 years. Mm-hmm. And it's becoming more and more of a topic. I will let you know of, who's coming up behind you. Mm-hmm. Are they really all into this industry the way we are? And we do see some people like yourself, which, yes, we're going to be fine. We're going to be okay. Exactly. So this for me is I'm getting as much out of this going, yes. This is good. This is really good. She's asking the right questions. I love this.
I'm sitting here with the trainer, asking her questions.
I interrupt this program for an important announcement. We are having the 3rd annual Celebrating Women in the Queen City event happening Monday, March 24th at Lenny Boy Brewing from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It is a night of networking, inspiration, and celebration. And we are celebrating and highlighting women in multifamily. We have 2 dynamic panels that are gonna be in this live Be Amazing podcast. So you don't wanna miss it. Get your tickets today, $10. Go to celiasmart.com right now. Get your ticket. Oh yeah, and guys, you're invited too. So make sure you go get your ticket today, $10, celiasmart.com. We'll see you there on the 24th. Now back to the program.
My heart's desire at this point in my career is like, I want to continue on the path I am. Yes, I want to continue to grow my business, of course, but I want to make a difference. And I think that when you get to that place and it shifts in your heart and you're like, no, I want to continue, but I really want to now really make more of a difference.
Mm-hmm. For me, there's this thing that's called the fulfillment checkbox.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you have money and you have, success and, the house, blah, 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 but you don't have this, for me, and it's part of my journey to really understand this, because I chased what I call the golden handcuffs. And I see people doing that. So my other advice would be, don't just chase the money. Don't let that be your primary motivator, because when you do the right things for the right reasons, the money's going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
I believe that. I think when you take your eyes off of it being, because I know what I get if I've gotten stressed at points, because it's like, I'm so focused on numbers, and we'll talk about it, and like hitting a number and going after a number. And it's like, you can get so focused on that you stress yourself out. And it's like, the minute I start to do that, and then I start to like shift my focus to like, how can I give? What else in this space can I do? Be in the association, being on a committee, all of that. All of a sudden, everything else like you said, it starts to come. Yeah, it just starts to come, because I'm not so focused on that one thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else?
Well, we got to talk about some other things. So I want to talk about salsa dancing. So when did this start? How did this start? Like, where did this come from?
Okay. So I've always had such a connection to my Latino family. My very longest best friend of many years, I won't say how long, she's Colombian. And her family kind of adopted me. I've known her since I was in my early 20s. And I still see her and spend holidays with her family. Anyone that follows me on social, I say my big, beautiful Colombian family. That's who I'm talking about. Growing up in Tampa, let me go all the way back. Growing up in Tampa, there were times where I literally was the minority, because hay mucho Latinos in Tampa. There's many. And so I fell in love with the culture, with the food, the family centrism, and man, they know how to party. Love it. And that's where the dancing comes in. And so since high school, all my kids are half Latino. I mean, I'm all in. Rosario is not my maiden name. Okay. And just to be clear. And so when I was, it was probably 14 years ago, 2009, I decided that I wanted to learn how to properly dance. And so I went to a gentleman by the name of Beto Herrera, the owner and founder of Mambo Dinamico out of Raleigh, Durham. And I took a salsa lesson and never looked back. I took lessons from him for years. And then I started going to congresses. I've been on 2 or 3 salsa cruises where we take over the whole ship. And it's party nonstop, live bands, 12 DJs, performers from all over the world that are also instructing. It's insane. You're dead. Your feet are about ready to fall off when you're done, and you're happy. And so since 2009, I'm by far, I'm not like one of the best dancers. I can hold my own on the dance floor, and I can follow anybody. So that's really, for me, it's all about social. It's not about perfectionism. It's about having fun. It's musicality. It's social. It's physical. There's days where I said, why did I even do my hair? It's like a mop, just bringing it, because you're sweating and you're just so happy and the music is going and people are just smiling. And some of my best girlfriends, some of the girls that I travel with, like Christina and Andrea. And anyway, I met them salsa dancing. Between dances, the women talk. So we're like, wait, can he lead? Can he lead? Yeah, he's good. Okay. That kind of thing. So it's a whole community. And I can't speak for other parts of the country. I can say I've salsa'd in Charlotte. Great salsa community. Erica, if you're there, I see you. She's in our industry and she's a big salsera y bachatera. And I can't say outside the state. I can say inside the state. It is a safe, and this is important for the ladies, respectful. Yeah, we wear our salsa costumes, which y'all haven't ever seen me in because I don't want you to judge me. But
I know. I want to see a picture.
Oh, God. Because, it's not work. It's salsa. And yet, yeah, there's a little, I'll say it, sexiness going on. Let me say it again, respectful, no nonsense. You were there to dance, express, feel the music, have a good time, and that's it. You walk away. That's it. And people on the outside looking in, I think sometimes don't get that. Mm-hmm. And so anyone who's ever been interesting, I want to be that ambassador for you. I was a white girl who wanted to learn how to dance, and I did it. And I love it. So there you have it.
I had just a taste of it. Like when I danced with my pro in 2019, and like it was like 6 months of dancing, and we did salsa, and
you rocked it.
I saw that. I loved it. I loved it. It is. I didn't even get that experience of where like you're in a big room with everybody partying and everything. It was from the performance side. So I just got a little taste of it. So I can imagine socially it's like amazing.
Because everybody dances with everybody. It's not about, are you single? No, it's everybody. It's different. Everybody dances with everybody. And you know who you're going home with at the end of the night, right? So again, I want to make that very, very clear. It's so much fun and it's a great environment.
I think that's great. That's great to know, because I think there has been a lot of like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know if that would be okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say this, for non-salsa couples, if there's one that doesn't, they don't understand, and that can be difficult for the one who does. And so salseras always say, up front, I tell anyone I'm dating, like, this is a part of who I am. If you want to come. You don't even have to dance. You could just see what it's about. And I'm not going to stop salsa dancing. Just, you have to be comfortable. And I think that's fair, because it's all it is. It's no different than running marathons or doing any other kind of group. Well, marathon's independent, but you train with other people.
Right. Group activity.
Group activity, hiking, whatever. So, yeah, I do. I love it.
So would somebody need to take a salsa class before they were to go to a community thing? Is that what you'd recommend?
Highly recommend. Even if it's just one or two basics. Once you learn the basics, mainly for the women, sorry guys, all you have to do is follow. Because let me be gender neutral. For the followers, it's very easy when you have a good lead.
Okay.
Either way, a lesson is highly recommended.
Okay. Yeah, I love this. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple last things.
Okay.
Because we could talk dancing all day.
I know.
We talked about a quote earlier, but are quotes the only thing you really lean into for inspiration, or is just obviously dancing and music? But what is it right now for you? Is there another quote, or is something specific?
Well, I'm a huge Maya Angelou fan, and because she's just so eloquent and so dead on with what she says. I meditate every day, and so there's a few people. Deepak Chopra, I definitely like his guided meditations, but there's others. I have gotten back into my yoga practice once a week. On Sundays, I go to a yoga practice, and I wish I was here because I'd be rocking Ellie's thing that she does on Friday nights. That and doing the Camino has developed my spirituality. And I do have a home church group that I belong to. And so for me, it's seeking truth that is life sustaining, fulfillment checkbox, right? From the heart-centered, healthy. So I will read across all genres, whether it's the Buddha or Jesus Christ, or, I consider myself a practical Christian, and I'm so open. I'm fascinated, again, the curious about all the other religions. And the more I dive into it, the more I realize, like, I hope I don't make anybody upset, but Jesus and Muhammad actually kind of had a lot in common. There was a lot of parallels there. So anything that lines up with coming from a place of that agape love, right? You are my sister. You are my brother. We are all God's children. My personal mantra, leave people better than you find them. I mean, I can't say it any more simply. If it lines up with that, and it helps me to grow and understand myself, right? People think, oh, you hit a certain age and you're supposed to have everything figured out. Well, spoiler alert, you don't. And so it helps me to become the best version of myself. I am there for it. I am so there for it. And so there's so many different things. I love self-development books. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of my all-time favorites, right? Brene Brown. Oh, don't get me started. Atlas of the Heart, Daring Greatly. Again, there's so much out there. It's just finding what really resonates with your truth. And that is uplifting to you and others around you. Anything that has you angry, frustrated, or stressed out, it's not serving you. I've learned to really filter my news because we don't realize, but it really can lead to stinking thinking. The whole, I don't care what side you're on, the whole election, people were so riled up. None of that is healthy.
Amen.
Not saying that there weren't points on either side. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what it did to our hearts, what it did to our minds, and how it divided us as a people. Why? We're better together, folks. Come on. So, yeah, anything that lines up with that, I'm in.
I love that. I've learned so much about you today. This is what I love about having these conversations, because you see people, I've interacted with you for 10 years, trade shows, apartment association events, like we're going to Bravo tonight.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. So, but to actually have a conversation that's more in depth, and you really, when we started at the beginning and you're like laying out all these things, and you can't see it right now, but I have like this spin wheel that has all the colors. And that's what really strikes me about you, is like, you're wearing the color purple, but there's so much more vibrant color about you. So thank you for sharing all of that today.
My pleasure. This is fun. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, this is just one thing I would like to ask you is there anything else that we didn't talk about, or is there one last thing that you feel in your heart that you just want to leave with the audience, the listeners?
Number one, be good to yourself. As a single mom, married mom, now empty nester, single, I think women especially can be their own worst bully. And I have honestly had periods of my life where I absolutely was my own worst bully. And so my last thing would be just be good to yourself. Because, you're the only you have. And I think we're way too hard on ourselves. And I think we stress ourselves out too much. And I think sometimes we just have to hit the reset button. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that just kind of wraps it all up. So I agree with you, and that resonates with me. I think that's been a big lesson this year for me, is like, nobody's going to treat you better than yourself. You treat yourself good, then you'll open the door for everybody else to treat you that way.
Absolutely.
And abusing your body or abusing your mind, or, abusing because we can be abusive to ourselves. Like,
the worst. That's what I'm saying.
It's just awful.
Well, that leads me to a Maya Angelou quote. You teach people how to treat you. Right? And that means that if I'm treating myself bad, I'm going to be much more likely to teach people to treat me that way.
Right.
So one last Maya Angelou quote, when you know better, do better.
That's right.
Yeah.
This was so good. And where can they find you? Can they find you on social, on the website? Like, how do they get in touch with you?
Everywhere. So I'm on Insta, on the gram, Rebecca Rosario, Facebook, Rebecca Rosario 1, LinkedIn, Rebecca Rosario, fullhousemarketing.com, RebeccaRosario.com.
All the things.
All the things. Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you again for being on today. And y'all stay tuned for more of the Be Amazing podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to the Be Amazing podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please send it to someone who inspires you so they can feel amazing too. If you want to help us reach new listeners, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget, you can find the video versions of our episodes on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at the Be Amazing Podcast or DM me at Cel Smart. I'll see you in the next episode.